Hi everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Chasers. December 14th. Looking ahead into our forecast chances for the end of the period, we still have some potential for some Arctic air getting close to our region. And I thought I would just jump into what exactly an ensemble forecast is. I know a lot of people hear about ensemble forecast, and I get questions about it sometimes as to what it is. And a lot of people don't deal with this on a daily basis, so I just thought I'd explain as best I could here. So basically an ensemble forecast is we take one model run with the conditions as to what we think they are now based on observation and our best data, and we run that out, and that is the control run. These ensemble members are, we take these initial conditions and we tweak them a little bit, we change them, and then we let the model just run out with those conditions changed, and it gives some pretty dramatic differences as you get further on into a forecast. So this is the GFS, for example, and each one of these is a run you can look at. There are some other sites where you can actually look at these individual runs and check them out and just kind of watch them play out. So you can see on number 11 here, as it gets really cold right after Christmas and we get down below 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Or you could run this run number 2, where you can see where we get down towards 0 Fahrenheit out on the day 30. Or you can see that there's some of these with mid 40s and upper 40s on there too. So a lot of variation as you get out, as with any forecast. With all ensemble runs, just like with any model run, you're going to have a lot more agreement in the first several days. As you can see there, the temperatures are pretty similar, and we've got this little bit of a warm period there on the 19th. And after that, you can see we cool down a bit. We get down towards freezing a little bit more. And you can see a few outliers in there that stay up into the 40s. But then after that, about after Christmas Eve, you can see a lot of variation starts occurring in this ensemble run. You can see some very warm temperatures, and you can see some really cold ones that are probably indicative of some Arctic air getting into the region. And you take an average of these temperatures and you can plot these out, and you can see the mean by looking at those averages, and you can see the blue line is the control run. And when you see the mean and the control line up fairly well, the confidence tends to be a little bit higher, but then you can see there's some differences start happening here. Actually, the control is a little bit warmer for Christmas time, and then you can see it just really fall off a cliff there, and that would definitely be Arctic air in this scenario blasting into the region, while the mean stays chilly but much warmer than what this control run would show here. So looking at this is the European, for example. The GFS runs 30 members. The European runs 50. The GFS runs 30. So you can see the control run here. It's got a little bit of snow after Christmas, and you can see all its individual members. And on this weather.us site, you can go look at each individual run, and you can kind of play out and play along with each of these ensemble forecasts. Since we're looking at snow totals here too, we all know the European model, GFS, have not been doing good with snowfall totals in this system. That doesn't mean that's going to stay like that the entire rest of December and into January, the rest of the winter. It's just not handling the system well. So when you're looking at Arctic air and you're seeing 3 inches, even 2+ inches in Seattle with Arctic air around, and you're below freezing, that can be a very disruptive event. So you shouldn't look at any one of these runs and say, oh, it's just 2 inches of snow, because I think it was November 2010, we had 2.5 officially at SeaTac, and we had compact snow and ice on the roadways. We had buses and ditches. It was crazy. So these 3-inch snowfalls with Arctic air can be extremely disruptive for the region. And you can see some of these have in excess of 6 inches, and you can just kind of look at these markings on the ensemble too. This will show the extent or the more extreme predictions there. You can see some over 6 inches, a handful over 4, more over 2, and you can see the mean is just over an inch there after Christmas. So don't be fooled by snow totals. 2 inches of snow can be crazy for a hill that has for a town that has lots of hills, and that's how it is in Vancouver, through Seattle, down the I-5 corridor. There's lots of hills down towards Portland. So if we look at the European temperature here, I took number 23 and number 25 as examples here. 23 kind of drops off a cold period towards Christmas. which by the way is looking a little bit less likely. It's both the GFS and the European have kind of pushed the colder scenarios back a little bit, which isn't good for confidence, but you know, it is what it is. There's not much you can do about it. But here's 23 and 25. 25 goes cold after Christmas, 23 right about Christmas. So I was going to take a look at these. And this is the 22nd. This is number 23. You can see big Arctic high out here. Nice strong gradient all the way through British Columbia down in towards western Washington. We've got that low just over Astoria. Probably be bringing some good Arctic air off the continent and back into western Washington and Oregon, British Columbia. And a nice setup for snow here. So if we play this one into the future, you can see the Arctic air is long gone, or what's left of it is now east of the Rockies, and we've got a big Gulf of Alaska low bringing relatively warm air into the Pacific Northwest. So a much warmer scenario here as we get towards the 26th. However, if you look at number 25, for example, I think this is 25, isn't it? Yep, number 25. You can see the Arctic air up here, and it's still bottled up into British Columbia, and you can see it starts to get on the move there on Christmas Day, Christmas night. You can see there's some pretty good troughing happening here, and it's a very strong gradient from Lake Williams all the way down towards Bellingham, probably 20 plus millibars there. So you'd get some good outflow here, and probably a good scenario here too on the 25th. So then, yeah, the temperatures really drop down there. You can see that high really gets going over central southern British Columbia. So what does that mean? So basically, we know that a lot of these ensembles, there are Arctic air scenarios. Just some of it doesn't get far enough to get to intrude into British Columbia and Washington and Oregon, but it is there. And that can just mean a cyclone further north off of Vancouver Island, and which is keeping western Washington and Oregon in a warmer southwesterly flow. Or a lot of these ensembles are probably going to be right on the borderline where that low is going to form close to Washington and include southern BC in a snow event. So while you just look at the ensemble mean, you can say, oh, it's going to get cooler but not that cold. That doesn't mean there aren't plenty of scenarios that can happen that it won't get cold, because there are a lot of scenarios that it will get cold. There's just also scenarios where the cyclone or the resultant troughing stays further north off the British Columbia coast, and it keeps western Washington and Oregon in a warmer west-southwest flow. So don't be fooled just thinking that, oh, it's just going to kind of be warm and these are just really outlandish solutions and we're not going to get that cold, because there is a chance the Arctic air will get into the region here in the second half of December. It's just not a great chance. We're not very sure. You know, confidence isn't high yet. So we're watching, just like everybody else. There's not much you can do about it. You just watch and see what our knowledge shows us here off into the future. So I'll probably do another forecast tomorrow looking at the actual extended runs and kind of look at the ensemble mean again tomorrow, because a lot of these models are kind of in flux and it doesn't do that much good to look at it every single day. So if you guys are liking these videos, continue to click like and subscribe. I'm getting a lot of new subscribers, and I'm checking out my options for live feeding. I was going to do some Q&A as soon as I figure that out. We were working on that tonight, but we couldn't quite figure it out fully yet. We kind of got there, but I didn't want to go on totally unprepared. So we'll work on that the next 2 days, and we'll try to get some live Q&As going. And I have it set up on my laptop where we'll do some live streams where I can go out in the field, and I can do Q&A, and you guys can watch a weather event. And I might do that when we go storm chasing too, out in the plains later on in coming spring, if you guys are into that sort of thing. So stay tuned on Twitter, and I will keep updating with new forecasts, and I will talk to you guys later.